Subscribe, it's useful and interesting here.
You're holding your phone right now, or maybe you're staring at a monitor. You probably intended to do something important exactly 5 minutes ago. But here you are. Again. Do you feel that heaviness in the back of your head? That vague sense of guilt mixed with irritation. You think you're lazy. You think you lack willpower. You think you're broken. Relax. You aren't broken. You just haven't read the manual for your own operating system. I'm your brain. And I'm working exactly the way I was designed to through millions of years of evolution. The problem isn't me. The problem is that you don't understand the fuel I run on. Let's talk about dopamine. Listen closely. Everything you've heard about dopamine in popular articles is likely a lie. People call it the pleasure molecule. They say you scroll through your feed to get a hit of joy. That is a mistake. A deep, neurobiological mistake. If dopamine were about pleasure, you'd feel bliss every time you open social media. But you don't. You feel empty, yet driven to keep scrolling. Why? Because dopamine is not the molecule of pleasure. It is the molecule of anticipation. It is the molecule of desire. It is the currency I use to sell you on an action. Let me explain the mechanics so you can stop being angry at yourself and start understanding what you're up against. Deep inside me, in the subcortical structures, there is a reward system. Its primary goal is to keep you alive. Food, reproduction, new territories. When I see something that could potentially improve your situation, I release dopamine. It's a signal, pay attention. Go there. Do that. Dopamine is the promise of happiness, not happiness itself. And this is where the modern world sets its trap. Your phone isn't just a communication device. It is a perfectly engineered, variable reward generator. It works exactly like a slot machine. When you pull down to refresh a page, you trigger what neurobiologists call a reward prediction error. You don't know what you'll see next. A funny video. Bad news. A message from an ex. A boring ad. It's that uncertainty that drives me crazy. If you knew exactly what you were going to see, I wouldn't release any dopamine. But uncertainty makes my neurons fire in bursts. I force you to click again and again, hoping for the jackpot. I am searching for patterns where there are none. And so, you sit there. 2 hours have passed. You've done nothing, and you feel disgusting. Do you know why? Because the reward system works on a balance. Imagine a scale. On one side is pleasure and dopamine. On the other is pain. When you push down too hard on the pleasure side with cheap, fast stimuli, like short videos or sugar, my homeostasis mechanism tries to level the scale. How? By piling weight onto the pain side. This is the critical moment you need to realize right now. That state of apathy, fatigue, and grayness you feel after a long session online. That's not an accident. That is my defense mechanism. I am intentionally dropping your baseline dopamine levels below the floor to compensate for the spike you just forced on me. You are taking a high-interest loan from your future mood, and the interest rates are predatory. You've probably noticed that after an hour on your phone, it's physically painful to start working, studying, or even cleaning up. You think it's laziness? It's not. It's biochemistry. Normal tasks, reading a book, taking a walk, writing a report, release dopamine in a very moderate, steady way. But after you've overloaded your receptors with digital, super stimuli, I can't even hear those quiet signals anymore. I've gone deaf. You're trying to whisper to me about the importance of work while a digital disco is still screaming in my ears. I'm not bored because the task is boring. I'm bored because you've broken my sensitivity settings. Let's go deeper. You feel stuck. You want to change, but every morning starts the same. Your hand reaches for the phone before your eyes are even fully open. This isn't your fault. It's an automatic reflex. My job is to save energy. If an action is repeated enough times and brings even a tiny reward, I move its control from the prefrontal cortex, the part where your consciousness and will live, into the striatum, the habit zone. Now, the action happens without you. You don't decide to pick up the phone. You just find yourself holding it. Your smart brain is asleep at the wheel, but it's not hopeless. I am plastic. I change throughout your entire life. Neuroplasticity works both ways. I can learn addiction, but I can also unlearn it. However, to get out of this, you'll have to go through the one thing you fear most: boredom. Boredom is not the enemy. In the modern world, boredom is a rare and precious resource. You run from it like it's fire. Every time there's a pause, in an elevator, in line, at a red light, you pull out the gadget. You don't give me a single second of silence. But silence is exactly where dopamine receptors recover. Remember those scales of pain and pleasure? To bring them back to balance, you have to take the pressure off the cheap pleasure side and wait. That's the hardest part. The recovery period takes time. Usually, it's 2 to 4 weeks for a full reset, but you'll feel the first real changes in just a couple of days. During those days, you will feel bad. You will feel anxious. It will seem like the world has lost its color. That's okay. That's withdrawal. It means the process has started. My reward system is rebooting. I'm not suggesting you throw your tech away and live in the woods. That's impractical. I'm suggesting you introduce the concept of friction. Right now, the path to cheap dopamine is too smooth. One click. One swipe. You need to create artificial friction. Make it hard for me to reach the source. Remove icons from your home screen. Turn on a grayscale filter. Leave the phone in another room. Force me to make an effort to get a dose. I am lazy. If I have to get up and walk to another room for a cheap thrill, I'll often choose to just stay put and maybe actually do some work. There's one more mechanism you should know. Dopamine is designed to work with effort. Evolutionarily, we got dopamine after the effort of the hunt. Now, you get it before. You get the reward without the work. This breaks the very structure of motivation. If I can get the prize for free, why would I write a report? Why would I learn a language? To take back control, you have to flip the equation. Dopamine must become the reward for the journey, not a down payment. On a neuronal level, it looks like this. You consciously enter discomfort. For example, sitting down to a difficult task without your phone, and you hold your attention there. In that moment, norepinephrine is released. You feel tension. You want to run. But if you endure that first flight impulse, if you stay with the task, I will start releasing dopamine from the very process of overcoming the challenge. This is a different kind of dopamine. It doesn't burn out the receptors. It gives you a calm, steady energy. It's the feeling of, I'm doing it. It lasts for hours, not seconds. You're often angry at yourself for getting distracted. You think, I just need to pull myself together. But pulling yourself together is a resource of the prefrontal cortex, and it is very limited. You can't drive all day on willpower alone. It'll run out by lunch. You don't need more willpower. You need a better strategy to protect yourself from me. Look at your environment. Your surroundings shape your behavior much more than your intentions. If there's a chocolate bar on the desk, you'll eat it. If your phone is face up, you'll pick it up. I react to visual cues faster than you can think. Don't remove the stimuli. Create a space that is boring. A boring space is a space for deep work. When I have nothing to be distracted by, even a difficult task becomes more attractive than staring at a wall. Use my intolerance for boredom to your advantage. Give me a choice, work or be bored. I will choose work. And one more thing about multitasking. Forget that word. I can't multitask. I can only switch tasks rapidly. And every switch is expensive. When you jump from a task to a messenger and back, you are burning glucose at an industrial rate and filling your working memory with metabolic waste. By evening, you feel like a squeezed lemon, even though you've actually done very little. This is the cognitive cost of switching. Stay in one task. Let me dive deep. The flow state everyone dreams of is just the state where I've stopped scanning the environment for threats or new stimuli and have fully synchronized with one activity. In that state, dopamine is released steadily and evenly. It is my peak operating mode. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I get it. New life starting tomorrow. A stop. That's a dopamine trap too. Planning big changes also triggers a dopamine release. It feels good to think about how you'll change. But it's a fake sense of achievement. Don't aim for a total revolution. I'm afraid of sudden, drastic changes. If you ban all pleasure tomorrow, I will ribble, and in 3 days, you'll find yourself on a 10-hour binge watch. Start small, with micro shifts. Leave your phone outside the bedroom for one night. Just one. See how it affects your morning. Or set aside 1 hour a day where are completely unreachable. Just 1 hour. I will start to adapt. My receptors will start to clear. You'll notice that food tastes better, the sky looks bluer, and complex books start making sense again. You aren't in a dead end. You're just overstimulated. Your navigation system is being jammed by the strong magnetic fields of cheap entertainment. But the compass still works. You just need to move away from the interference. Remember, I am your tool. I am a powerful machine, but I am a blind machine. I go where it's brightest and where the reward is highest. Your job, as the conscious mind, is to shine the light on the right goals. Stop feeding me junk and wondering why I'm running poorly. Give me silence. Give me a challenge. And give me time to recover. We are a team. And we are capable of incredible things if we just stop chasing cheap sparks and start building a real fire. Right now, when this video ends, don't click the next one. Don't open the comments. Just turn off the screen. Sit in silence for 1 minute. Feel what it's like to be alone with your brain, without any middleman. Try it. I'll be waiting.